Why do you think people kind of overlook your wrestling skills sometimes?
I don't think they overlook my wrestling skills as much as they like pump up Chimaev's. But then he's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
And I think the Drickest takedown in my fight against him, everyone just like throwing me off the edge because that happened, right? But much like what I do, like I'm not going into a boxing fight. We're not going into a wrestling fight.
Yeah.
It is MMA, and there are so many roads to victory. And I understand that holistically, I'm really good. It's harder to take me down when I'm throwing punches and kicks at your face.
Yeah, because obviously you're in there, you're testing your boxing against one of the best boxers in the world. How do you rate Khamzat's wrestling when it comes to some of your past opponents? You've obviously fought Yoel Romero a couple of times. You've been in there with some really good wrestlers in the past. Do you think he's the best wrestler that you faced in that octagon, or how do you sort of compare him to some of the past guys?
Hard to say.
Yeah, Brunson as well.
Yeah, I definitely think he's the most dangerous because he's the one in front of me, untested. He's the unknown, right? But he's obviously very good. He took Usman down quite handily and then controlled him on the ground. And Usman's got very high level wrestling as well. So it makes sense that he's very good at what he does. But like I said, I've wrestled with the best of them, and it's a fight at the end of the night.
You've gone up from welterweight to middleweight, and you're one of the best middleweights to ever do it, one of the best middleweight champions in UFC history. How do you think Khamzat's power and strength translates from welterweight, which is kind of where he dominated, right, to middleweight? I mean, Kamaru Usman obviously took that fight short notice. He's a welterweight as well. How do you actually think he translates into middleweight with a real middleweight like yourself now?
I feel like he's always been a real middleweight and just really suffers to get down to welterweight. So I think he'll do fine.
Yeah, because you are kind of like his real first test. Like, he's fought good guys at middleweight, but you are his real first test at that middleweight.
We'll see. Hopefully it's an advantage in my court, but we don't know.
And you mentioned how beating Khamzat, proves that you're one of the best middleweights in the world. Obviously, you are one of the best middleweights in the world. Do you believe Khamzat is potentially the hardest sort of test at middleweight right now, or the biggest question with you beating him if you do get it down to UFC 308?
For me, he is. He's the one that's in front of me. So, yeah, that's how it is.
Obviously, you want to go in there every single fight. You want to get the finish. And you mentioned to me, I have no preferred way I want to finish guys. Whatever the knockout is, whatever the stoppage is the one that I'm going for. But is there any added pressure to really put on a show here to sort of take away this title shot from Sean Strickland, potentially get yourself in position next?
No. I beat Chimaev. I'm fighting for the belt next. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind about that. I just got to make sure that I put all the chips, and I cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and get to Abu Dhabi, top of my game.